So another YouTube video. What's up, guys? Got a little bit of snow. Thankfully it's been melting off the last couple of days. Alright, so anyhow, what we're going to do today, believe it or not, finally broke down, went about tuning my system the right way. My brand new toy, the SMD DD-1 Distortion Detector. We got our test CD here, D Amore Engineering. I'm going to give props out to Steve Meade, team over there at D Amore. Anyhow, so we're going to be working with the Alpine MRX M240, pushing two Alpine Type R15s, 2 ohm, rated at 2400 watts minimum at 2 ohm. My power certificate rates it at 2700. Running off the Audiocontrol EQ, Audiocontrol Epicenter, the Alpine MRP F600 4-channel, pushing the front and rears. Alpine Type R 6.5 components for the front. Alpine Type S 4x6s for the rear. The Audiocontrol 3XS crossover. And the Pioneer 2600 BT. So the joy about this tool is you have two ways that you can use it. You can test your RCAs and you can test terminals. So what we're going to start off with is testing the RCA output right here, these two from the head unit. We're going to find out what my maximum volume level is with no distortion. We're going to start off with a 40 hertz tone. Wait for this thing to start off. Alright, so track 1's playing. As you can see, my EQ's flattened out. Don't have any plus minus gains anywhere. Check the deck. My loudness is off. Subwoofer. Since I'm not actually using that channel, I'm actually just going to go ahead and turn that there. Turn that off. That way it doesn't look like it's being used. High pass filter's off because I'm using the Audiocontrol source level. Doesn't really have an adjustment for a CD, but you can adjust it apparently if you like. So that gain's going to be at 0. Going to back it out. Head back to track 1. We're going to start it again. We're going to set it on repeat. So it's going to repeat that track. My volume, last time I checked, distorted at about 38. This is a real simple tool. As you can see, off, on. Power indicator, low battery, showing that it's got signal, detects the 40 hertz, 1 kilohertz, distortion. Not sure why that's not focusing for you, but that's how it lays out. So currently, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the device powered on. As you can see, I got power. Give me just a sec. What I'll do is try and prop this up a little bit right here for a second. As you can see right here, I have a 40 hertz tone. If I go up, distortion. Back it down, no distortion. That's on one channel. We're going to disconnect. Going to kind of block you off from having a view right here. As you can see, got a 40 hertz tone on the second channel. Bring it down here. Volume up, distortion. So that's at 40 hertz. I'm going to jump up to 1 kilohertz. 38. I got 40. So 38 is my listening level, as you want to kind of average it out when you get two different signal responses there, when it starts to distort from the 40 kilohertz to the 1 kilohertz. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug these back into my epicenter. Get those in there nice and firm. Okay. So now what we're going to do is it comes out of the epicenter here and into the EQL. So I'm going to want to test to make sure I still have a good 1 kilohertz signal coming out of here with no distortion. As you can see, no distortion. Give me a second since I kind of have to navigate around in the truck. 40. 38. So now I'm going to back it back down to 40, distortion at 38 or 39. So 38 is my maximum volume. And the cool thing about it is, guys, my head unit is 40 minimum, or excuse me, 40 maximum. Tongue twisted today. 40 maximum. So to get it at 38 out of 40, it's not bad. As you can see, again, this is my other channel. Since I'm only running 2-channel in, I have 39, got distortion 38, back it off. I'm looking good. All right, so now I'm gonna get these plugged back in. All right, now I got to move over onto this side of the truck, so bear with me for a moment. Camera screen's gonna kind of flip a few times as I try and get propped up here. Sorry about that zoom, guys. There we go. Get it back in there. All right, so had to swing around. So I got 40 hertz. Now the sad thing about it is, since all the equipment is spread across the truck, it's kind of hard to do this. In case I need to make gains, adjustments on the EQ. Currently everything's balanced out. I have signal on 1 channel, but as you can see, I haven't hit the 40 hertz detected yet. So from my understanding, when you are running an EQ, you have to be kind of cautious of how you're doing this. So slide back over here, get tangled up, see if I can bring the DD-1 over. All right, currently everything's balanced out. It has 0 on the EQL. Everything's flat, no gains, no adjustments. So I'm gonna go with actually a 6 plus. Gives me 2-volt input here. And now I have a 40 hertz tone there. Now let's see if I get distortion, because I'm gonna mess with my output a little bit. Okay, I have no distortion. So I'm gonna bump it up a little bit until I see a little distortion. Oh, looks like it recognized 1 kilohertz. But as you can see, now my input voltage is maximized. So I actually want to back that down until my orange light starts flickering. Okay, there we go. So now, let's see what we have here on my output. Audio control equipment is line drivers, so it increases the RCA output. Okay. I do have 40 hertz signal right there. Outstanding. Since I am also tuning a high, I'm actually going to switch to 1 kilohertz. 1 kilohertz is detected. Now on the EQL, I'm at a +6 on my input. I'm just under halfway or balanced out on my output, and I have signal. When it comes to the actual boosting the frequency, not adding, but boosting the frequency, if I start turning these gains up, I'm going to start clipping, so I'm actually going to end up having distortion. So when I do make adjustments, it's from the balanced down to -12 on the EQL. Alright, so I'm testing 1 channel here. We're just going to double check at 1 kilohertz on my other ones. Make sure that they got their sound. Okay, good to go. Does look a little bit like my distortion light's trying to turn on. See a little bit of color in it, so I'm going to back off my gains a little bit. Alright, kind of hard to see. See how it's kind of flickering right there? So it shows that I'm getting distortion at 1 kilohertz. And now I have none. And I actually just maxed out the gain on the EQL. I back it off, I have no distortion. Alright, so we're looking good there. I'm going to back it back over to 40 hertz. I'm going to switch my channels onto my other RCAs. Match the signal. 40 hertz detected. Sorry about that, guys. 40 hertz detected. And currently, right now, I'm not getting any distortion, even if I max out my output gain. So we're looking good. I'll back it off just a wee bit. Now I can actually zero it out again, because that's where it looks like I'm getting good signal out of the EQL. So all my channels here are putting out a nice clean 40 hertz signal without distortion. This is at 0 dB gain, now at 1 kilohertz, as you can see, lit up, steady signal. So looking good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and make my connections back into the crossover. Okay, now what I want to do, so I got all the gains here zeroed out. I want to test my gains on my channels here. So this one's going to be a little bit tricky. Make sure that the camera's still doing its job. So hopefully I left a little bit of room to where I can work with this one, and I did. Okay, so that one should be rear channel up. All right, as you can see, I'm making gain up. I got 1 kilohertz detected. Right now, I just want to test 40 at 0 dB gain. Since this is my front and rear channels, it's not going to show it. So front and rears need to be done at 1 kilohertz. Keep an eye on it. Signal detected. That's maxed out, 0 distortion, but I don't want to have it maxed out, so I'm going to go halfway. We're going to test the other RCA on it. This is my rears. 0 distortion. We're looking good. I'm going to go ahead and do my fronts real quick. Zero distortion all the way up. Can actually keep it just under halfway, 1 kilohertz, 0 distortion. Looking good. That's one channel. It's the other channel. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to feed my wires back. Get them in here. All nice and pretty. Yep. Might help if I make it look uniform. Get that down in there. Feed these. Get these put back in here. Alright, so now, since I have tested all my RCA inputs and outputs from the equipment, sorry about the finger, guys. What I'm going to do now is test my leads. These are my terminals. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. I'm going to start out with 1 kilohertz, 0 dB gain. We're going to test each channel. This is going to show me right where I need to be before I start getting distortion on my outputs. Give me a sec, guys. Got to set down the phone for a moment. Almost finished, guys. kind of hard to do when it's just you know what I mean? So, all right. As you can see, I'm going to start off with second channel, 1 kilohertz. Since I do have lengthy enough leads, as long as I could do this without getting everything unplugged, I'm going to show the 1 kilohertz tone is detected. I'm going to start off with my gain here. As soon as I see distortion, there it is. Bam. Alright, so it looks like it's kind of having its moment, receiving signal. I'm going to back it down just a wee bit. And there we go, 0 distortion. Now it looks like it's, like Steve Meade would say, you breathe on it and it detects. So 1 kilohertz, we're looking good. Alright, so that's channel 1. 0 distortion on both my 1 and 2 channels, so I'm going to move up to channels 3 and 4. Give me a sec, guys. Got to set down the phone again. I know, not exactly the best way to do it. Sorry, guys. If I had someone to help me out, I would. Alright, so now we're going to start off with channels 3 and 4, which is my rears. We're going to check for distortion. I'm going to get my screwdriver in there. Alright, 0 distortion right there. So it should be the exact same since both channels 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 are on the exact same gain input. We'll just double check, make sure. Showing a little bit of distortion on one of my channels, so I'm actually going to back down the gain just a wee bit. Perfect. Double take another look at the first channel. 0 distortion, 0 distortion, 0 distortion. Outstanding. Alright, so now my front and rears off the E3XS and the 4 channel are good to go. Now I get to move over here and unplug my terminal connector. Take my RCA inputs for the M240, pull those out a little bit so I have some room. We're going to put this at 40 hertz. Alright, so let me get my phone back over here so we can see. Yep, that's right, I use my phone. So currently my bass input showing 40 hertz detected, no distortion, all the way up, and I'm at 5 volts for my maximum output. The M240 supposedly can handle up to 8 volts according to Alpine. According to my owner's manual, it's 5 volts. Just like I told you, I was worried about doing the dual 2 ohm 15s because they're only $750 a piece. $1,500 for the pair at 2 ohm. Amp puts out $2,700 at 2 ohm. Kind of weary on it. I'm not sure if they underrate these and overrate their 12s or what, because I blew 3 sets of the 12s. I just pulled out my last pair. I switched down to dual 4s. Never had a problem with it, so I'm hoping these dual 2 15s handle what I'm throwing at them. So maxed out. Let's go ahead and take a gander here. Just make sure both channels are equal with 0 distortion. 40 hertz detected. Maxed out, still at 5 volts. I think we should be good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and plug these back in to the amp. Make it all look nice and uniform again, pretty, and get my wires slid back through my openings here. Alright, so now I can go ahead and test the output leads for the M240. What you want to do is when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you set the frequency crossover at its highest point when you start. Give me just a sec, guys. Got to make an adjustment here. Get my probes in here. Get them set in here nice and pretty like. As I was saying, you want to make sure that your frequency's turned all the way up. You can fine tune that a little bit later. Right now we're just doing inputs and outputs and gains. So here in just a moment. Alright, so my M240 has a bass knob. What you want to do on the bass knob, I'm not using the epicenter knob at all right now. But you want to make sure that your bass knob, if you do have one, is set halfway. Gives you play up and down depending on what you're listening to. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the distortion detector up here and get it turned back on since the time's out. 8 moments. Now I straight have distortion. So what I want to do is I want to actually back off my gain on my 3XS, and as you can see, now I have no distortion. Took it up to about 3/4. I'm still at 0.5. I can run 0.5 volts at halfway and be perfect at 40 hertz. And as you can see, still set up. Give me just a sec as I get this phone. What up, homie? What up? Just setting the gains on the amp with that distortion detector right now, making a YouTube video talking to you on the phone. Yeah, son. So I'm just about done. I'm just finishing up my amplifier for the subs and just setting the gains, and I'll be done. Do me a favor, let me holler back at you here in like 2 seconds. All right. All right, sorry, YouTube. Buddy of mine, I was talking to him about it. He's running Alpine Type R 6.5s front and rear in his Audi G8 with a JLW7 13.5 inch anniversary edition. And I was talking to him about the SMD DD-1 here, and he wanted to get down and get some work done. So he might be coming up, get his tone. All right, so now currently I'm going to turn up the gain. See where I can get it to. All right, little distortion, back it off. All right, now believe it or not, that gain on the M240 is barely up. Seriously. As you can see right here, minimum, barely off of it. And then I start getting distortion. You ready? I'm going to turn it up just a wee bit. Distortion, back it off. 0. All right, so now everything is maximized for perfect output. Now it's probably going to vary a little bit on how it sounds with actual musical tracks. I have yet to find out since the other day when I first did this. Checked out the DD-1. It was quick. It was cold. It was snowing. Didn't have a whole lot of room. As you can see, I got some space right here now. I had to unbolt the seat, move it forward so I can get back here. Don't mind my paint stain right there. Anyhow, to get you the full image of the box. That's how everything's looking. Everything's laid out all nice and pretty. Thinking I might add a nice little wood grain trim piece right here across the top. Just kind of separate it a little bit. Kind of match the wood grain that you see here and right here. Other than that, guys, EQL, 3XS, F600, and the MRX M240 are now maximized for perfect, undistorted output. My shit's going to be clean. So you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. I was going to do a tuning video on the EQL again, according to another YouTube viewer. Sorry about that, man. I tried, and then I decided I was going to do the 15s. Once I did the 15s, I said, all right, cool, you know, I'll get back down to it. Decided I wanted to get that SMD DD-1 meter, and this is what we're left with, guys. So I'm, you know, technically my EQ is now really for show. I can decrease the volume from 0 down to negative 12 dB boosts. So I won't be boosting signal, I'll be dropping it according to my taste. So at least I'll still be able to have some functionality in play, and I'm going to have undistorted, unclipped signal. So, hey guys, appreciate you washing, tongue twisted, it's a long day. You guys take care, and I'll get this video uploaded soon. Watch out for my next one, alright?